brought them to the United States of America. Thank you very much. No. Who can believe that they allow this to happen to our country?
Great citizens.
But there's a lot of fear-mongering.
There's a lot of fear-mongering. Absolutely.
And I think it's kind of remarkable that the polls I look at, the national polls, actually Americans still support immigrants. They support immigration. It's just that they would like to see a system that actually works and that can keep them safe and secure. And all of us want that. And, I've been working on this issue for 20 years since before I came to Congress, in the streets as an activist.
Let me show you this is one of the reasons that people have these sort of thinking. Here's the three cable networks reporting of this. Our banner said, soon Biden announces legal protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. CNN's banner said, Biden announces new protections for some undocumented spouses. Here was Fox's banner, migrant arrested for raping 13-year-old New York City.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Is that you have a lot of fear-mongering.
Exactly. And that we know that when people have economic insecurity.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about MSNBC or BSNBC or MSDNC, whatever you want to call this far left extremist network that has stooped to an all-time low. Just when you think it wasn't possible for MSNBC to get even worse than they already are, Joy Reid and Jamila Jayapal basically broke the scale, okay? Because in response to the realities of illegal immigration, where you have these gang members from Venezuela who have come into the United States and they are now conducting activities in the United States that have led to murders, robberies, thefts, violence, just more crime, to the point where a majority of the American people, doesn't matter which race you are, want all illegal immigrants deported, right? That's how fed up the American people are with Biden's border policy. Joy Reid and Jamila Jayapal's response to the American people wanting to deport illegal immigrants en masse is that, well, it's fear-mongering, right? Stories like the story about the illegals that decided to do the unthinkable to a teenage girl. Well, that's just fear-mongering. It's just fear-mongering. You don't need to worry about it, okay? Not that big of a deal. It really is just another example of the mainstream liberal media insulting our intelligence. They're trying to basically paint this narrative that, well, illegal immigrants don't commit crimes, right? In fact, Americans are more dangerous than illegals, right? This is what they tell you, okay? But again, it's just so funny because people like Joy Reid and Jamila Jayapal are the same people that will be always boohoo whining and crying about Me Too, right? Me Too matters unless is being done to a 13-year-old girl, right? Again, that's essentially the message that is being pushed here, right? That what she went through doesn't matter, and that's not something that we should be concerned about as a society, which is young girls being subject to rape, okay? This is what the mainstream liberal media is putting out there. They're laughing about that, okay? They're chuckling and giggling over the unthinkable happening to a teenage girl because it happened because of illegal immigrants. It's amazing how that works. So with that being said, there is one candidate in the race that actually has a plan to deport the illegals, right? To have mass deportation in order to help this country get on the right track when it comes to immigration, and that is President Trump. Now, this plan, Project 2025, technically is a plan that's being done by people who have worked in the Trump administration and that on the conservative side of the aisle, like, for example, the Heritage Foundation, to have a roadmap for the president to follow to get things done while in office. And I actually think that this is an excellent idea. I love Project 2025, okay? And you know that Project 2025 is good. You know it's serious business because the mainstream liberal media, they're boohoo whining and crying and melting down about it, right? The more they cry about it, you know that it's good for the country, okay? The more they cry, the more you say, okay, yeah, this is good, right? But I've actually read Project 2025. And again, one part of their deportation plan is to essentially get rid of the incentives for illegals to come to this country in the first place. And that's where it has to start. And then also there has to be mass deportations. And that is what Kevin Roberts, one of the architects of Project 2025, is going to school MSNBC on as they melt down about the fact that, hey, we want mass deportations and the American people actually agree with this. Okay, so again, he's going to school them on this plan, okay, and what should be done about immigration, and they're not really going to like it too much. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Asking about immigration and how you see immigration, how in this plan, how you talk about using like the National Guard to deport individuals. Like, what is the, Alicia, and do tell me if I am adequately
people on the interior
summarizing.
specifically.
People
not
on
the
the
border.
interior specifically, not people in the border, people within this country.
Well, first of all, we need to close the border. And secondly, we need to have the biggest mass deportation system ever in the history of America, because it is unjust and illegal and evil that more than 10 million illegal aliens have come to this country. It's imperative that we send those people back, invite them back to come through the legal system. We love immigrants at Heritage, but we also love the rule of law.
So how do you plan to carry that out?
Well,
Are you talking about going door to door? Because that's what I mean, I could read from the plan, but I think
the first thing is that there's going to be a lot of self-deportation. The interesting thing, as you no doubt know, is that simply talking about this and beginning to implement a plan, and President Trump deserves a lot of credit for talking about this, causes people to say, I don't want to run the risk of being arrested for doing something illegal. But secondly, there are great plans using the Department of Homeland Security to return these people back to south of the border. The great thing is, even a majority of people on the political left agree with this, because they see the damage that this has done.
What? Facts. Okay. Yeah, and this is what they hate the most. They hate the fact that because people in this country have experienced the negatives of unfettered illegal immigration, which is what is happening under the Biden administration, people are now realizing, hey, we don't really like this, which is something they should have realized with common sense, right? Unfortunately, in 2024, liberals have to actually touch fire to believe that it burns, right? They don't listen to conservatives who say, yeah, this policy is not good, right? You're not going to like this. No. They got to try it first, okay? They're one of these people that have to try it, okay, in order to see what it's like before they can actually come to a conclusion about whether or not something's good or bad. It's really unfortunate. But now that we have experienced it, the majority of American people, including a significant amount of Democrats, are like, yeah, we should deport the illegals, right? We can't have these wide open borders. This is why immigration is the number 2 issue right after the economy. Now, yes, we already have plans for mass deportations. It can be done. In fact, we've done it before, okay, under the Eisenhower administration. You know, hey, we have done these types of roundups before, okay? So don't say it's not possible. It most certainly is possible. We can round up over 1 million illegals, okay? I can tell you how we can do it easy in 2024. Okay, all those places that are housing illegals with taxpayer dollars, that's the first place you start, right? If you go to all those places, you're going to get a significant amount of them, okay? And the best thing I love about Project 2025 is that it is actually a plan to bypass the bureaucracy, right? Okay, they're basically saying, yeah, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it by bypassing Congress. Okay, we're not going to go through all of the nonsense that you usually have to go through in order to get things done. We're going to use every ounce of power that we can in order to get this accomplished, which is what they should be doing, right? That's exactly what they should be doing, okay? Especially when it comes to an issue like this, right? That's what I love about it, okay? So, Kevin here is also right when it comes to rhetoric, okay? Rhetoric matters a lot because remember, Joe Biden was the one that was telling illegals to come to the country. When he was debating Trump, he was like, come, okay? You have the right to seek asylum here in this country. And guess what? All of these illegals started surging the border as soon as Biden was elected. And the closer that he got to being in office, they started to come. I remember covering it. When it first happened. These people were showing up to the border with Biden-Harris shirts saying, let us in. There were mass caravans. I mean, this is still happening, but I'm just saying this is what was happening from the beginning because Biden said come. Trump coming out and saying, no, don't come, that we're going to deport you, that we're going to be tough on illegal immigration will deter people from coming in the first place, which will significantly slow down illegal immigration.
Before we go,
I think we want to take a couple more minutes,
yeah,
and so I know we're being told to wrap, but we want to take a few more minutes.
I'll stay as long as you want.
No. Just ask you real quick. So what do these people do? What are they doing now?
Which people?
The folks, the 11 million, 20 million, whatever you want to deport.
A lot of them are committing crimes like murdering the 12-year-old girl in Houston. In fact,
so that's
we're very
one. That's
concerned about
one out of 11 million. What is the?
We can take the remaining time of the segment, and I can give you a lot of examples.
In Texas, undocumented immigrants were 37.1% less likely to be convicted of a crime. Undocumented immigrants, and according to a survey, University of California Riverside study, 33% less likely to be in prison as of 2021.
The young lady killed in
I'm just
Georgia.
giving the numbers.
Well, what do you tell the parents of those people, those young girls who were killed? This is absurdity. The preponderance of these people, Michael, are male.
But what is the difference between an illegal immigrant who unfortunately engages in that activity?
And we don't like that. I want to be clear. We don't use the term illegal. So undocumented individuals.
That's sweet. They're illegal aliens.
Undocumented individuals. Versus.
Wow. Wow. This woman's triggered by the use of the term illegal immigrants, which, I mean, is an accurate description of the people that we're talking about here, right? But essentially the argument they're trying to make is that, well, the crime rate for illegals is lower than American citizens, right? So they're basically trying to say that the American people are more dangerous than illegals, which is not true, okay? These statistics that people like Simone Sanders cite and what, you know, is said on MSNBC are not reliable for multiple reasons, okay? One being that there are at least 1.5 million illegals that are unaccounted for, okay? AKA gotaways, right? That enter the country and we have no clue that they're actually even here at all. So then when they commit crimes, if they are caught, okay, if the crime is actually reported, which again, a lot of times it's not, okay, they don't even know that the person is an undocumented person or an illegal immigrant until the person is in prison, right? A lot of times they don't even know. They have no clue that the person is here illegally until they're actually in jail. Like, this is a real thing that has been studied by the Heritage Foundation, and how specifically in states like Texas, the number of illegal immigrants that commit crimes and the crime rate is understated for that reason. Because a lot of people, again, that are convicted of these crimes, they don't even know that they're here illegally. Okay? Also, on top of that, in these liberal cities, these illegals commit crimes and they just play catch and release. So again, a vast majority of these crimes are not even reported, but yet these people are citing these statistics as if they're reliable. They're not reliable. Just like a lot of these crime statistics that are coming out in 2024 that go along with the left-wing narrative, even though people are telling you the exact opposite in reality. Okay, the left is saying, no, crime is down. Okay, you just hate blacks, right? This is what they say. And it's like, no, crime is not down. Okay, look at what the people are saying. Your statistics are incomplete for X, Y, and Z reason. Okay? That is what's happening. So, once again, we have gaslighting from the liberal media trying to pretend like, oh, well, this is not a problem, this is not an issue, trying to sweep under the rug these situations that are happening more frequently where you have these migrants committing these heinous acts, including murdering American citizens, including committing the unthinkable against teenage girls, robbery. We have drugs going on, trafficking, all types of crazy stuff happening. And these people want to sit back and pretend like, well, you're a bigot if you point it out. You're hateful if you say, hey, this is a problem, and these people need to be deported.
Anyone else who commits the same crime. Well, I mean, so what you're saying is because you have this instance of individuals behaving badly, that's a reflection of every individual in that community, and that's just not the case.
No, what is the case is that because the preponderance.
I mean, what percentage of those people, the 11 million that you want to
answer your question.
I just want to clarify my question. Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. What percentage of those individuals that you want to get rid of, move out of the country, actually commit crimes?
Our analysis in Texas.
Well, 100% of them, because they're here illegally, right? Which is a crime, right? I'm just saying 100% of them are here illegally. So yeah, they're all committing crimes. Okay. That's just the reality.
Texas, Georgia, and New York shows that a preponderance of the illegals who have come in
I don't know what's that number.
Are unattached male, and there are unattached males, and the disproportionate number of them are people who are not even making any attempt to be legal.
But what is that number?
Obviously,
are you
a large
talking
number
10
of them
out
have
of
committed.
1,000, or are you talking? I'm just trying to get.
Well, I just would say, and if Alicia were sitting here and you could hear her, she would say that you are weaponizing a horrific murder to smear 11 million people.
That is
and
a
that is
laughable
what
assertion.
Is
what Joe Biden is doing is weaponizing the entire government.
Before we let
against
you
every
go,
American,
Dr. Roberts.
Yeah. So again, what I find to be pretty fascinating about how Simone Sanders wants to talk about weaponizing illegals killing Americans, right? Which I'm not sure how you weaponize that, right? Like it happens, it is happening. Okay, pointing it out is not weaponizing it. It's just pointing out the fact that yeah, this happened and this is a problem, right? But apparently she has more of a problem with this than the fact that you had her own colleague on this network openly laugh at what is happening to the American people, the crimes being committed against the American people by illegals, right? I think that is much worse, okay, to laugh at that situation, okay? But if Democrats want to talk about weaponizing situations to push a political agenda, they do this every time there's a mass shooting that involves a straight white male, right? They use that to smear all straight white males and conservatives in this country, okay, after there's a mass shooting. But again, here you have MSNBC playing down the threat that illegal immigration poses to this country, a threat that we're currently seeing play out before our eyes. Again, in a lot of these liberal cities that have all these illegals, yes, this stuff is happening and the American people are suffering because of it. And MSNBC wants to pretend like, oh, it's not a problem, right? That you're a bigot if you say, hey, maybe we should engage in mass deportations because we have taken in too many people, right? I don't think that is an extreme idea. It's not a controversial idea. And I love the fact that we're at the point in 2024, thanks to Biden's open border policies. Unfortunately, it took us all of that to get here, that people are realizing that, yeah, this stuff is not extreme. This is just common sense. We have to send a lot of these people back because, quite honestly, we just can't have all of these people who we know nothing about from these countries that we don't know anything about here in this country committing crimes and making life harder for the American people. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.